Hello everyone, this is the 4PC FFA World Championship. I'm not sure what to call it. I'm just going to call it Prelim 1. Basically, we are going to take the winners of the qualifiers. There were 4 winners of the qualifier at this particular time slot, which is 0 UTC. So 2 winners from last Saturday and 2 winners from last Sunday at 0 UTC. They are going to be competing to get to 1 winner. It's the first to get to 1.25 wins, so probably the first to 2 wins unless there's some sort of tie. The game is going to start momentarily. All the players are here. Started a little late because we were waiting for Martin to arrive. But Luke is getting the game started, and I will be commentating on this match. So right now on the screen, we're just looking at what was the highest rated game beforehand, which is the 2400 plus queue, and everyone is sort of talking in the chat of that game to organize the match. If Martin had not shown up, then Jubla would have been his replacement, because Jubla was the next highest finishing person after Martin for that particular arena. I don't think Jubla was interested in playing, so it would have been a very interesting dynamic, because Jubla plays a little bit differently from a lot of the other 4PC players. He's known to get emotional at times. Okay, the game has started, so let me go find it. Okay, we are into the game right now. And let's get to the live position. This is semi-anonymous, so we know who the 4 players are. We do not know who is what color. So the 4 players in this game are International Master C. Coppola, Martin AXO, Absorbent Trance, and Chessmaster GS. Oh, I should enable streaming here. So of them, Martin AXO, I believe, is a streamer, and Chessmaster GS is a streamer as well. So the winner of this particular match, let's just assume the winner for winning. No, like everyone in the games would have been frustrated, but I mean, let me give the setup a bit first of all for those who might not be familiar with 4-player chess. This is a high-level game at the high levels. So first of all, 4-player chess is every man for himself. So red versus blue versus yellow versus green. You are trying to accumulate points. You get points by taking pieces and checkmating kings. The point values are 1 point for a pawn, 3 points for a knight, 5 points for a bishop and a rook, 9 points for a queen, 20 points for a checkmate or capturing the king. And if you double check 2 live kings at once, then you get 1 point for that. So you're trying to accumulate points, and when there's just 1 player left, so when 3 other players have been eliminated, the player with the most points wins, who is not necessarily the last remaining player. The meta at high-level games is that opposites work together. So yellow teams with red, and blue teams with green. So we may see situations where, for example, yellow might move his queen one of these places, and red is never going to take it, because they are working together informally to go against blue and to go against green. They are legally allowed to take the queen. They would get 9 points for taking the queen, but it would not be in their interest. Lost Chess is saying C. Coppola is the clear favorite here. Okay, but to get back to the Jubla situation, Jubla plays more emotionally than a lot of these other players. And And some people think that at times he's not a very good opposite. So he would just throw some chaos into these games. Not only would he throw chaos by virtue of his own play, but another dynamic of this is all these players are trying to win, but their path to winning sometimes involves impersonating each other. And that'll be especially the case after the first game. The first game, there's not so much impersonation because it doesn't matter too much who wins. But once one player has won a game, then if they win a second game, then they win the match. Therefore, if the players can figure out who the other players are, then they want to make sure that the player who already has a win doesn't get a second win. Therefore, if a player already has a win, he will pretend to be someone else. It's like a meta strategy of this match format. So it would have been super entertaining, not just to see Jubla play, but to see the three other players who may pretend to be Jubla in order to, so that people don't think they are who they really are. So we would have potentially 4 players playing like Jubla, which would be hilarious to watch. So yeah, here's an example. These 2 queens were in tension, but red would never capture the yellow queen. Here there's been a queen trade, and there might even be another queen trade here. It's also possible that green is going to try to get a check on red. And if he can keep red busy, they may be able to win this queen for free at some point. So yellow is defending the queen, just in case red is tempoed somehow with one of these moves. Okay, so green may choose to, I was going to say you could trade the queens or you could trade the knights. The problem here is green is going to disrupt red's pawn structure long term. So Wrathy Ben would hate this sort of pawn structure here. It would be very bad to castle this way now. He still has the possibility of castling towards blue or moving his king 2 spaces or 3 spaces towards blue to get a safe king. King safety very important in this particular format. Hey Karate Dragon, thanks for checking in. I guess Hunter's probably started his stream by now. Let's see. Oh, he's late. Hunter usually starts at I think 8 for him or 7 for me since I'm in Central Time. But good to have you here, Karate Dragon. Okay, so blue and yellow have been trading with each other. Green is now attacking this knight. And he may, looks like he's arrowing to attack another knight. Red needs to get his pieces active. This knight isn't really looking at anything right now, but it's his most active piece. These bishops aren't looking at anything. Okay, now red has actually made a threat because he's attacking this pawn. This rook could potentially become active somewhere, but it can't get to this square because the knight is covering. Knight is now being attacked. So what these players want to do is they want to team up and double team on another player. So if green and blue both attack yellow at the same time, like if, for example, if blue and yellow each capture a piece at the same time, yellow can't respond to both attacks. He can't recapture both pieces. So they're able to gain advantages that way. But red did not take this pawn. I think the reason he didn't take this pawn is he didn't want to open up the rook file for blue, or he may be waiting until later. He can take the pawn when yellow actually makes an attack and move against blue. So he'll hold this move in his back pocket. He has got his bishop more active on a long diagonal, potentially attacking the green knight. He would not take that right now, but maybe he's hoping for like this sort of move. So yellow could take this, and he could take this, and then they're up material. Green castling the safety. This is a pretty good pawn structure. The king will probably at some point shuffle over to n5. And green would like to get his rooks active. Blue has this rook file, but his rook is not yet active. He would love to be able to like slide the rook around this way. Looks like he's getting his knight towards the center. Maybe red will push this pawn to get the bishop more active. At some point he probably wants to castle or even just slide his king over. The fact that this pawn is here already and it is past d4 is very good for red, as pawns cannot move backwards. So the e3 pawn here for red can never be undermined by blue by a pawn. Red probably wants to leave this pawn here as a blocker, at the present moment at least. The time control, by the way, is 1 minute with a 7-second increment. So even though it looks like these guys are down to like 15 seconds, they still have plenty of time. This was actually a somewhat surprising move. Red has weakened his pawn structure a lot here. And now this pawn backwards pawn on e3 is a long-term target. At some point, blue might get a knight that can attack it from like one of these squares. But red does not seem too concerned at the present moment. Red is blocking in his bishop right now. Otherwise, could go after pawns like this. Yellow has castled. This pawn structure is somewhat safe, but green still has a break and can undermine this structure. Red could have been just super safe if he left the pawn here. This move just baffles me. So both bishops are looking at this knight, but really they want to attack different pieces. At some point, like this could happen. Taking two pieces at once. But I think blue doesn't particularly like that because the pawn would take his bishop and it would be just a bad trade for blue. Although for the team, it would be a good trade because they would get two knights for a bishop. On here, I don't like this. I think this knight was the one to take. Although it's good for green that he's given up his light squared bishop and not his dark squared bishop. The dark squared bishop is the most important because it's the one that defends his king. Blue is not actually attacking green. He's attacking red. Green's never going to take this knight. This is a pretty good diagonal for the green bishop. Let's put in some pressure on red. And blue and green are continuing to attack red. I'm not sure how green can really exploit this though. What piece in this attack? I mean, maybe could undermine the knight, but this is a good place for the bishop, so I don't think you would want to move it. I don't know what he expects for green. Whoa, was that a sack? What did he take? He took a knight. That's kind of wild. Maybe he wants this to pin the pawn, but then the knight could take. So, okay, he's attacking the bishop. So I guess it becomes a trade at this point. There's no way for green to protect the bishop. Okay, green did undermine this position, and now blue can't take the bishop because red has pinned the pawn. That pawn break happened that I talked about before, so yellow's structure has been undermined, and yellow's feeling a lot less safe. And these rooks are probably going to get involved. We might see the bishop get in somewhere. Okay, he's getting in with knights. This is bad news for yellow. Red's pieces just aren't active enough to help out. He could keep blue maybe a little busy here. He has a check in his back pocket against him. But pushing this pawn could make sense to have a check in his back pocket against green. But ultimately, red just is not that active. The rook is really the only active piece. Yeah, this other rook could get active here, I suppose. That's an extremely odd move. Red seems to be just letting yellow die. Okay, finally an active move. Maybe too little, too late though. Probably the bishop will plant itself here and undermine the pawn structures, ties down the king, and it cannot be attacked by blue because the pawn covers the square. So this is a fantastic square for the red bishop. This worries me a little bit, especially with, yeah, I mean, they're going to try to get like double checks in. Actually, this double check would be mate. Red has gotten his bishop to a good square. If the blue rook moves over here, this is a mate threat against blue. Might give him some pause. Okay, blue is now preventing yellow from moving there. More importantly, he secured a check on red. That's why this rook move up here, it was just super baffling. I don't know what that accomplishes. So, I mean, I think red is going to have to move his king up. Okay. Yellow wants red to go for mate. But I don't think there's time for that. If he goes here, we get this check. Rook comes here and can take the red rook. And it's no longer a threat. Red needs to deal with this check threat first. And in the meantime, this is looking super scary for yellow. Now we can get this move. That move baffles me. This pawn was irrelevant. I mean, who cares if they take that? Go for mate. Maybe he wants to get the bishop here to cover these escape squares? I mean, that could be a try, but yellow is going to die long before that happens. The other thing he could try to do is snipe a mate on yellow. And he might just try to snipe that mate. Like, that's mate for red if they don't do anything to, like, if green doesn't block it or give yellow some squares. Okay, he does block it. He could take the pawn. Yeah, red really wants to mate his opposite. Which I don't really understand. So yellow is just resigned. Yellow has to be super frustrated right now with the way red is played. Red still has possible attacks on blue. That could be a mate for blue. Red is probably frustrated that he's not going to get a checkmate here on his opposite. Okay, is blue gonna... Blue took the mate. You could take this pawn also, or you could just save your knight, taking the pawn. So, red actually has all of his pawns. He has all of his rooks. He has all of his bishops. Down one knight and one queen. The red does have a fantastic position. He also has 24 points, which puts him within striking distance of these other guys. He's not like way behind. I mean, he's 20 points behind blue, but he's real close to green. These guys probably have to team up on red because he's so strong. And blue has Traded one piece for two versus red. Red now going after green. Now is blue gonna go after green or... Okay, he's potentially going after this pawn, but he's also keeping safe. Okay, he is taking the pawn. It also defends the pawn from red. Sorry, Deconqueror says, this is what a high-level FFA game looks like. Sort of. It's kind of odd that red didn't coordinate very much with yellow, and that red just let yellow die and tried to mate him. So that's kind of odd for a high-level FFA game. I mean, eventually people double-cross each other. I'm just surprised it happened so early. I think red was extremely inactive this game. But this is a match that's going to consist of several games. So the match is going to be won by the first person who can get to... Okay, so this probably this happens. So we attack both red rooks. Really? I guess he's worried that the rook would move away and blue would take him. So that's reasonable. Yeah, so it's the first to one and a quarter, which probably means the first to two wins effectively, because there's unlikely to be ties. And this is the first game of the match. So an interesting dynamic we are likely to see after the first win is whoever wins the first game, people will see who won the first game. And the second game, they will try to figure out which color that person is, and they will make sure that person doesn't win. Because if that person wins twice, then the whole match is over. So this is a threat. He has this or this. He's defended. Red marching some pawns. Blue is going for queens. This is the queen in square. It's just one beyond the center of the board. Red, queen's here. Green, queen's here. Blue marching those pawns up. What blue is hoping is that red won't want to sack a rook to prevent promotion, and that green is either just going to shuffle his pieces or will keep busy. Oh, so this pawn is hung as blue moves away, and now the rook is tempoed. What red was hoping would happen is that because green defended, blue wouldn't take it, and because blue defended, green wouldn't take it. But moving away kind of screwed over red. These guys are going to be very careful about red just because red is so strong. Red has two rooks and has the most pawns, even after losing that pawn. So if you promote, so I'm sure red will take. Or green, if he doesn't promote, green will push, and the pawns will block each other. I'm potentially attacking this pawn. I think... Oh no, he's not going to push there because that could be taken. So maybe he pushes this, then this. Maybe he just moves this king up here. Blue has a few options. Blue would love it if green would help him, but he can't count on that. Like if he checked, or sorry, if he promoted and green checked, then this queen would not be taken. But green has no reason to work with blue. Blue has far more points than him. Alright, this promotion is hard to stop without sacking a rook. So red is gonna... I don't think he's gonna be willing to sack his rook, but we'll see. He might not have a choice here. Green is just not helping to stop this because green would like red to sack his rook and get weaker. Red is probably gonna let him keep that queen. We'll see. I think he'll probably retreat. Maybe here. He could defend the green pawn. Yeah, green is just pretty useless here. Letting blue get very powerful. I think blue takes this pawn now. Well, actually that would hang this pawn, so maybe not. Maybe he just protects the pawn. He's put his king in a nice little box where rooks cannot attack it. Green has finally defended his pawn. Red maybe gonna do this. Actually, pawn up could be good, but it does make him vulnerable from this side. So I think a rook trade will happen here. Oh, wow, it doesn't trade rooks. Okay. He's probably still salty that green didn't help him stop blue before. Red should defend. He's checked. That's good enough. Maybe even better. If king takes, we can take this. Rook can take this. Actually, probably check here, just so he doesn't take this away. Pawn check was good too, I should have said. I think you save your knight somewhere. Maybe here, so you can threaten this sort of fork. Red eliminated these pawns. This check could be interesting, but no, I guess he has an escape square. So red has to watch this square for like queen checks from the diagonal. Not right now because the queen's in a light square, but later on. This king does not have much support in him. Wow. That was a pretty crazy sack. Is he gonna sack here and let this be taken? Oh, wow, he sacks again. That's just really odd. I don't think he has enough to stop this queen. And green is probably going to be super annoyed. So how does this pawn get defended? I guess it doesn't. This pawn doesn't get defended either. Blue is pretty happy about this development. Maybe Jubla snuck into this game. So green wants red to defend. But that will just encourage blue to take this one. Okay. Maybe there's method to his madness. Red is trying to set up checks on blue. And he's hoping that green can somehow get this queen. But The green's only active piece right now is a knight, and it's hard to get that. This isn't mate, because there's threat here, even though it's defended. Okay, so blue is checked. Green is going to get the queen. I wonder if he takes the knight. Taking the knight would also defend this. Okay. Never mind. I guess he's probably just going to line up more checks. He could check green, but that doesn't look very good to me. He wants to defend this pawn, but he can't go there because of this. Let's have a check on green, also a check on blue. I like it. It keeps red's options open. I think he has to check blue. Let green queen. Wow, he's gonna let this get taken. That seems pretty bad long term. So he wants green to do this, but green is having none of it. Okay, this can be taken now. That would help red enormously. I think that throws the win to red though. So is it really in green's interest? I mean, it's hard to imagine green winning anyway. But red could even consider sacking this. No, he's not going to. Okay. So if he sacks it, the problem is blue probably promotes. But red does have an enormous amount of pawns. These pawns are going to fall pretty quickly though, when this type of thing happens. And now green is far away from this queen, so he can't take it. This at least defends this pawn. So, I don't know, maybe you go to the middle here, or you can push this pawn to give your king a place to defend this. Green is now pushing for promotion. Why didn't green take a free rook? What you mean red rook? Then we have this. There could be double check then. He could go this way. Okay, he's going that way for now. Still double check. No, that undefends this pawn. I don't think that's great for him. Pawn could be a target. So there are some potential checks on red. They're both eyeing this queen. They want this queen off the board. That just hangs a pawn. He has a check, but it doesn't do very much. Just lets green promote, I guess. Now you traded one powerful player for another. I don't think he should have given up this pawn. Now he wants them to, red wants them to fight each other, but they could just both fight red instead. This is a double check, actually. Like, why wouldn't you take that? It also wins the rook. Yeah, it's an amazing double check. Red pushing pawns. I don't know what blue is thinking about. I think we want this rook. And just extend his lead. That is extremely weird. Red saves his rook. So blue is hoping red is going to go after green and take some of these things. He might just go for promotion instead. Not sure. He could just take this pawn. So red is just waiting. He would like green to attack blue, so he could push while blue is busy, maybe promote. But he is weakening both of them. I think you just chill if you're red. Let them check each other. I think blue just has to keep checking red. I'm sorry, blue has to keep checking green, because if green ever checks him, red is going to do bad stuff. Wow, this is really close to a checkmate. Everything's covered. Red moving his pieces to more active squares. Maybe he's just going to push these other pawns while he's waiting for these guys to make decisions. Oh, green wants him to push this pawn and check, but that leaves him vulnerable. I think he's just going to use the time. So blue has a free move against green. Not really much he can do with it. Well, he could do this, but it's not good for him. I think red's just going to keep pushing pawns and keep his king in some safety. Like, this could be an issue, though. Okay. Yep, red is just pushing. He's disconnected the queen here, so this pawn could fall. I think red willing to take this pawn to weaken green, but he doesn't want to take the queen. He wants the queen to check blue. is making it very hard for green to win. The problem for red is that green may resign. Red is keeping things active. Okay. So now red needs to be a little bit careful, because this pawn could be taken. Probably the king comes up. I'm going to defend this pawn at some point. I guess red is considering taking the green queen. Oh, he's considering check. Oh god, I didn't even notice that. I'm so stupid. Checkmate was served up on a silver platter to him. He took it. He's now ahead points on blue. And now he's going to try to promote. This is going to be tough though. I think this is a pretty easy win for blue. I mean, I guess this is a try. So blue should be able to block all of these promotions. Or just check them a million times, because a draw wins for blue. Looking at the... I mean, we see spectator list. I don't think that tells me who these players are, because I see 3 of them in the spectator list. That's not possible. If he takes it, it's mate. So yeah, red is pretty dead here. If he goes up, this is like a permanent blockade. He could also have gone down here to try to take this pawn. This promotion was stopped. I really think queen here is the move. You're already stopping this promotion. But I guess he wants to try to take it with check somehow. Okay, he's just going to move his king in to eat this pawn. That's reasonable. So, blue was International Master C. Coppola. It's the first win. Red was Chess Master GS. Green was Martin. And yellow was Absorbent Trance. So congratulations to C. Coppola. So he has put the lobby in check, meaning that if C. Coppola wins the next game, he wins the match. If he wins any further games, he wins the match immediately. So what these other players are going to do is they're going to try to figure out who C. Coppola is in the next game. And once they find out that who C. Coppola is, they're going to make sure C. Coppola doesn't win. Chessmaster GS says yellow setup was pretty poor. So Chessmaster GS, who's red, is trying to explain why he did not develop, did not support his opposite, and attacked his opposite. And Absorbent Trance says, bruh. Ozorban Trent says you played rook f7 to f6 4 times. Let's find those squares. f7 to f6. But yeah, I'm kind of baffled why Chessmaster GS went after yellow. But it is what it is. And then Chessmaster GS miscalculated at the end. Martin, who is green, says, excellent calculation, GS, which is obviously a sarcastic statement. All right, we have a rematch. I'm going to watch the rematch here. Let's rewind to the start. We have the same 4 players. We have Martin AXO, International Master C. Coppola, Chessmaster GS, and Absorbent Trance. But we have no idea who is who. So blue already getting his king active. Signaling to, or sorry, getting his queen active. Signaling to his opposite. He's ready to work with him. Here's red. Red is getting active. Saying to yellow, I want to work with you. And let's see if yellow gets active. Red would like to see this queen get out somewhere. Again, the meta at the 4-player stage is opposites work together. So red works with yellow, blue works with green. So this knight out is preventing checks from this side. Okay, yellow is active. Now we see a true, all 4 queens are out there. Now we see a true teams opening, which we did not really see the last game. This red and yellow were not working together very well last game. Last game we had some early queen trades among everyone. We'll see if we see early queen trades again, or if the queens stay on the board for a bit. So this bishop move makes the king safer, but it also makes this pawn weak. So a later pawn push when the queen isn't here could potentially tempo the pawn. Red getting his king safe from early queen checks. Yellow figuring out what to do. And by the way, these 2 pawns are preventing yellow from having the long-term structure you would like to see, which is having his pawns here. At least one of them. In the interim, red may be loving life. Red could get both these pawns potentially. Okay. So yellow bringing his knight around. Probably he was worried about getting tempoed by both of them. I don't know if that actually would have happened, but he got scared. Green gets his knight more active. These knights seem to be moving over towards yellow. Yellow should be a little bit concerned by that. Look, red gets both pawns. This pawn could potentially be taken. Well, no, I guess it's double defended, at least for now. Although green could defend it again if blue really wanted to take it. Not really sure what yellow's doing. This seems to create holes in yellow's position. Doesn't seem that active. Maybe he's preparing to get this bishop active? I don't know. It's kind of weird. I when I say it's kind of weird, I'm not by any means a team specialist. So this could all be theory, and I just don't know any theory. I'm just kind of looking to see who is active and um, who is developing their pieces. I don't really know openings. So queen trade is offered. So green protects blue. So green lost the knight in the process there. Let's back up. Yeah, so green is down a knight. We still have 2 queens on the board. Blue is tempoing yellow. And okay. Allowing this to be taken. Another option would have been to tempo this queen somehow. But maybe there was no way to do that. Let's see. Is there a place he could have put the queen to tempo this queen? Or put another piece? Can't be attacked by a knight or a bishop. So yeah, this makes some sense. The idea is green takes the bishop if yellow takes. And if he doesn't take, yeah, then blue could take with support. Wow, okay. Another queen trade offered. So green could take, red takes, blue takes. Green is the one losing pieces here. Green is down pieces, blue is up pieces. On the other hand, as far as points, blue lost this queen and did not get the points for this queen. So green trying to figure out what to do here. Green is going after red. Is this mate? I think that green is just checkmated. If he pushes this pawn, so I think green just blundered checkmate. The other funny thing about this move is yellow could checkmate red if he wanted to. So everything's now in yellow's hand. Yellow could checkmate red, or he could checkmate green. So, for example, like normally you work with your opposite, and that makes a lot of sense. But backing up here, if yellow had a sense that red is C Coppola, if he had a sense that red was C Coppola, then he doesn't want C Coppola to get a second win. So this would have been the move if he thought red is C Coppola. I don't know who is who. So, okay. So yellow checkmated green. Red gets a queen from that. So let's assess what's going on here. Blue has the least points. No one has a queen. Yellow has the most points at 28. Red at 18. Blue at 9. Promotion is easiest for red and yellow, as they can promote all the way over here among the dead pieces far away from blue. Blue seems to have everything except for his queen. So blue is in a pretty good position. Red's pawn structure a little bit disrupted on the right. On the left, he's put himself into a bad pawn structure. He may just leave his king in the middle of the board. Or you may push this pawn and over. And given red's weird pawn structure, it kind of reminds me of what red did last games. Maybe red is C Coppola, I don't know. Yellow is down some pieces. So in addition to not having a queen, which no one has a queen, yellow also lacks a bishop and a knight. So normally at this stage, players look for balance. Oh, by the way, yellow promotes here. And when I say balance, the two types of balance that matter are material balance and points balance. So because yellow has the most points, the two of them could team up on yellow. Because blue has the most material, they could team up. Actually, blue and red both have a lot of material. So they could team up on red, team up on blue. This could be taken. Or this could be taken. Okay, so blue is getting closer on points. Red down a bit of material. They've cut red down a little bit. Yellow has lost material. Red probably now looking for king safety. Red highlighting that he still has his bishops and knights. Lost Chess says that Martin was green. And how do you know that? Are you looking at like the spectators list or? Okay, I do see Martin in the spectators list. So makes sense. Because Martin was green, the most important piece of information there is that the guy who has 1 point, International Master C. Coppola, is still in the game. So he is one of these 3 players. So it's still possible this could be a 2-game match. So red could potentially race his pawn at some point. We have some support by the bishops, at least right now. But red is trying to get his pieces to more active squares, it looks like. I guess red is looking to trade with blue. Blue's just looking to take free stuff, so red just hung a pawn. I'm getting the feeling that red is not C. Coppola. I don't think International Masters just hang pawns for nothing. So, I mean, although as we mentioned before, it is in C. Coppola's interest to pretend to be another player. So he may have hung a pawn so people would think that red can't possibly be C. Coppola because he just hung a pawn. Knight is pinned. Blue getting active with these bishops. Blue still needs to get his rooks involved. Blue still has all of his pawns. Okay, that's a pawn break. He would give up the pawn, but he can get his rook active. So I think we're going to see rook over here. Maybe even both rooks could come out this way. And he's also created some pawn islands. So I don't think this pawn is long for its world anyway. So not a big deal that he temporarily gave up a pawn. He's going to get it back. Going after this, probably inducing this push. Oh, okay, that's protected. Getting his rook active. If this pawn pushes, he could pin. Probably gonna rely on red to stop the promotion. Assume we're gonna take this. This should be like an interesting type of trade. Bishop takes pawn is totally reasonable. Not that he'll necessarily do that, because red could interrupt by doing something, but... Okay, red is defending the pawn. The bishop takes pawn, no longer a great move. Blue's going to double his rooks. Wow, that's ballsy of red. That's a check, but it just gives up a piece. I don't understand why blue did that. Okay. I mean, I guess he was sacking for a piece. Maybe to prevent promotion. I guess he wants red to deal with this threat. Red could just move his knight somewhere, but he might as well save his bishop. I'm just, yeah, seems like an obvious move. Okay, blue grabbing pawns. Red taking this opportunity to tempo blue. Two pieces of blue being attacked. So remember when the 3-player stage started, blue was way up on material. Blue is getting cut down to size. The main beneficiary seems to be red. Red has lost a rook, I guess, but otherwise still has all these key pieces. Red has lost some pawns too, but now red is way up on pieces. Imagine the same colors again. Was Martin green before? Maybe he was. I don't remember, honestly. But you all can check the VOD to be sure. Okay, this pawn is covered. It is a check, but it's not a good check, so we're not going to see this. Red could go here to protect the promotion. He could turtle up. He can move this knight somewhere. Again, to protect the promotion square. Okay, he is going to make blue deal with that. Blue's going to check yellow to keep him busy temporarily. Red now guarding the promotion square. Blue has threatened to check. This move could be good. This move could be good. Or this move. Trying to check himself. Okay. This attacks the blue bishop. But more importantly, opens up the red bishop. Red bishop has more squares now. Wow. And red is going after blue instead of yellow. Red defending a lot of these stuff. I don't think yellow is going to sack the bishop. Surprised he went all the way back. I assumed he would go after the knight somehow. Like one of these. Red is over defending this in case blue takes the knight, which he does. Now, is yellow going to defend the rook? I think he should. Because red is very powerful. No, he's not. Okay. I'm going to let blue get weaker. Blue is by no means out of the game. Blue has a lot of pawns that can promote. His king is relatively safe, at least for now. Blue is just going to shuffle. And he's going to say, oh, you took my rook. Well, now it's on you to make stuff happen. So he's going to make red force the action. Yellow going for another queen. That's a possible check on yellow. But checks on yellow don't do very much when blue is very weak. I mean, potentially blue could be able to grab a pawn, but not particularly useful. He can just tuck himself over here. I guess that falls to a check though. So maybe this is safer. There's no checks. Does give blue the ability to take a pawn. And this is interesting because blue could just take the rook, but he's choosing not to. He sees yellow as the bigger threat. I assume we're going to see a check here. And then, oh, okay. Okay. This makes sense. You can potentially grab both these pieces. I think blue can safely grab that. because red is protecting it, so yellow is never going to sack his last queen for the knight. If yellow did that, it's feeding the game to red. So it's pretty critical here that red has this structure where there's no checks on him. Red was considering taking the knight, but didn't want to. He wanted to have an ally in blue. He didn't want to piss him off too much. This pawn is loose. Still no good checks. I mean, this would just hang the queen. I think yellow would be hesitant about taking too many blue things too. I don't think yellow can win the 1v1 versus red. So yellow needs to keep blue alive, at least for now. I mean, unless he can mate blue, but hard to do that with only a queen and a bishop. So not only did he take a red pawn, but he's opening promotion pass for blue. So blue's probably very happy about that. There's a check. Red is hoping that someday this queen will be taken. But I don't think he can count on blue to take the queen. I mean, if red checks here, even if blue could take the queen next move, would blue want to take the queen? As if blue takes the queen, yellow is out of the game, and it would be a 1v1 of blue versus red, and can blue win that 1v1? I don't think so. I mean, this rook is super active. It'd be like rook and bishop versus a knight, and they both have pawns to promote. I don't think it's even in blue's interest to take the yellow queen, at least at this point. Oh, you're saying before, a while ago, when red put the rook here, pawn was pinned somehow? Maybe. Sorry if I missed that. This is defended. Again, red would love it if blue would take out the yellow queen, but I don't think blue wants to do that. Blue wants to promote these pawns. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe blue will do that, but he shouldn't. Yellow wants to go after this pawn chain. Yeah, blue going for promotion. I assume we want to move this somewhere. I mean, this is possible, but I think you just get your rook out. I think he wants to keep his structure safe. Oh, this is a real threat, though. Defending. This could be a threat. Would blue even take that? I don't think yellow trusts blue enough to do that, but honestly, I don't think blue should take that. Just because red's too strong. This, I think, blue would be willing to take. I think blue would be willing to take the bishop, but not the queen. This is a check on yellow. Are we sure Coppola isn't red? We are not sure at all. I have no idea who is who. So he brings his bishop where the knight can't take it. Red looks like he's blocking blue's promotion. He may still be looking for checks on yellow, but I mean, it's a tough situation because red keeps checking and wants blue to attack yellow, but I don't think blue's going to do that. Red is coming back to home. He's saying, hey, blue, you want to promote your pawn? Go ahead. Blue might try to undermine red's structure. Red not happy about that. So yellow could take the blue pawn, but he's choosing not to do it. Red has blocked this pawn. This check is possible. Yellow is not going to trust blue enough to do that. So is red going to take this rook? It's going to take the queen. If he takes that, he hangs a pawn. Nope. Do we start pushing this? That's an odd move. Okay, maybe you can go after yellow pieces. The 1v1 of red versus blue is looking a bit harder now that blue has a queen. Red trying to weaken blue a little bit. At some point you might want to protect this pawn. Watch out for this. Maybe he's coming back here. Might come all the way back, protect the pawn. Oh no? Red just wants to eat all of blue's pawns. This defends the pawn now. I think he should consider something like this at some point. Keep these pawns safe. Okay, defending the pawn. Very interesting. So yellow checks red. And takes the blue pawn in the process. Right now blue's defending this. This pawn is a little bit loose. He can't necessarily afford to take it immediately because yellow might go after him. But still, if you're red, Yeah, okay, red is keeping things snug. Also preventing a check from the side. By the way, there's a check on blue that red has in his pocket. This pawn is looking loose now. The one thing I'm wondering is if yellow takes this, could red take back? Not so sure he could. Like, if blue hadn't defended. Wow. That hangs the pawn. Could also pin this. So red generated some action. Not so sure that was good for him. I think yellow is just going to get his king safe among the dead pieces. Attacking the queen. Yellow can't afford to ever lose that queen. I don't think yellow will ever take this pawn. Just because it's a blocker for red pawns. We come in here. Maybe he just goes rook over though. The red was seeing if he could take anything of blues. Okay, setting up a check on yellow. That check was short-lived. He has a check, but it's a bad check, just loses a piece. And he still can't necessarily count on blue to even take this yellow queen if it's hanging. Surprisingly safe. Neither of these checks are available. This check is available though. As is this one. Oh, double check. You take those. He did not take the double check. This gets another piece active though. Now he could potentially check red with the bishop. Oh, this looks pretty good for yellow. I mean, if he can eat up blue's pawns, that's amazing for him. Red is still very powerful, though. This actually defends the pawn. That's a check. Yellow could trade these bishops. I don't think he will, but doesn't lose for yellow. It might be helpful to weaken him. Okay, he did it. Okay. Yellow needs to worry about this promotion. And now it's really hard for him to stop it. I think red needs to help out with that. Blue, I guess, did not promote immediately because he was worried of a check from red. I guess you could check here, take this pawn, and just let red worry about the promotion. Red was to promote his own thing. That checks red, actually. Okay. I think you push. I guess this could come. No, never mind. They both are looking at the square. Interesting. That actually looks at the rook. Red has to be scared of promotion because of this check. And then they eat up his pieces. Still a potential check. That's a check of yellow. So yeah, for sure, you promote here. Maybe not for sure, but it looks reasonable. So, I mean, I could see this type of thing. Okay. You take this on, or just... It's really hard to go for this. I think you just take the pawn. Oh, he's worried about the check, though. Okay. The red is now definitely in the lead, since he's allowed to keep the queen. Not only is he allowed to keep the queen, but he could potentially trade the queen with one of these people. That's a check. This could happen, but I think he's afraid of this. Oh, that's the spicy move. Red would love all the queens to trade off because he just wins at that point. Red probably thinking about this. Can red win with 3 pawns and a rook versus a queen? Is the question. With blue getting in the way. I don't know about that. He may look for a better place. Blue certainly doesn't want to trade that queen. If he did trade, then yellow would get this, but not gonna happen. Interesting. Yeah, that's the check. That's not quite mate, because he has a square. These dead pieces are super helpful to yellow. Yellow actually has the safest king here. Just because of these dead pieces. So this is a mate. Huh. This is not a mate for this. No, this is would have been mate if he hadn't moved away. This could be a spicy move. I guess blue could move away. Blue should move away, so he's not going to do it. Blue could just check red. I'm sure red is thinking about it. Now he's going to check blue instead. This does offer up a mate. No, never mind. Move order. That's so close to mate. Maybe you do this sort of thing. Oh, no. Just to watch out for this pawn. Red being very patient. I mean, if I were red, I would consider pushing a pawn. If the king is up here, then there are less diagonal checks. I mean, side checks could be a thing, though. But yeah, this rook does not seem perfectly placed. The rook could help guard against checks. But I guess he wants to be able to spring it into action at some point. Attacks the rook. Guards the rook. Could take the knight. Let me simplify things. Gonna do it. Wow. Okay. I guess taking the knight was a big mistake, it turns out. Now red in trouble. If yellow takes as a check, you can always go back. They're eating up red's pawns. Oh, that's a double check even. Wow. I think yellow just goes back. Since yellow moves after blue, every time blue checks red, that's an opportunity for yellow. Red's gonna try to promote. Of course, they're not gonna let him. This mate. Yellow could have just won the game. Right? Because yellow had more points than blue. Oh, maybe it. No, it wasn't mate because of recover. I'm stupid. So no, that wasn't mate. That would have handed the win to blue because blue could have taken for 25 points. Okay, I'm just blind. I like the way yellow's playing this a lot. I mean, he's gonna keep his queen to where he can always go back here to safety. But he's looking for opportunities for shred. Blue doesn't. Oh, blue does have a diagonal check that yellow needs to watch out for. Yellow can always come back to home. I don't know about that one. I guess it's fine. This queen blocks this check. I'm surprised that there's no good checks on red right now. Wait, what? Is that? That's just a queen. I guess blue is expecting yellow won't take it because he can't win the 1v1 versus red. But maybe he can. How we get a 1v1. And yellow can just if yellow is able to put red in a perpetual, then yellow wins. So yellow bringing his king over to help. I think he keeps bringing his king over. Red can't push, so he'll take. Keep him coming. This is very good technique by yellow. So I think we still go over there. That is surprising. I guess red goes up. Oh, what? Okay. Not necessarily a fan of his technique anymore. Ooh, those are still points. This is still a live king who is not resigned yet. But yeah, farm some double checks. I didn't realize this was still a live king. Okay, this is a good place to place the queen. And this is a good place for the king. Oh, farms and double checks first. Have to go over here. Otherwise, this looks pretty scary. Oh, okay, that's reasonable too. Is Red gonna go for broke? Probably not. Oh, and he does. Right now, blue is a blocker. Blue is also supporting red. It's a weird situation. This is a check. This just wins the game. Maybe not wins the game, but looks pretty good. Okay, I guess yellow wants to get his king over here. If blue moves away, which he will. Could check first. Now he's moving the king first, okay. Blue wants him to sack. I don't think that's ever good for yellow. Because red would just take. Was there mate of red? No, I'm sorry, of blue? Is this mate? I think that was mate. So yellow had mate on blue, which he should have taken because it won the game immediately. That's a win. Take the pawn. Check. Oh, okay, that works too. King takes and he's up on points. Okay, that's International Master C Coppola wins 2-0. Absorbent Trance says, bro, chess master. Yellow was the Coppola. Was trying to get you to attack him. For fuck's sake. Chessmaster is criticizing red, saying, you had a winning endgame and you repeatedly took my material. Absorbent Trance says, bro, you blundered the queen. Yeah, the queen blunder over here. And blue blundered the queen, yellow could take it for free. Interesting match. So congratulations to International Master C Coppola. Martin says 135 blue. Nice. If I click on 135 blue, I assume we're going to get to the queen hang. But let's see. Yes, queen hang. All right. So here's what's going to happen. We've taken the 4 winners from the 0 UTC qualifier arenas. So we had an arena last Saturday, an arena last Sunday at 0 UTC. There were first and second from both of those. Those were the 4 people playing here. International Master C Coppola has advanced. Oh, they're pointing out the missed mate, which I think we pointed on the stream, but we can go back here. Okay. So he played here, but this was mate, and didn't even have to give up material, and he would have been more than 20 points up. on red and could have immediately claimed. Yeah, so we have 3 more times from other arena qualifiers. So I will be streaming at 12 UTC, which is I guess around 10 hours from now. I will be streaming at 16 UTC and 20 UTC. The winners of these 4 matches are going to progress to other matches that will be held on Sunday. In those matches, the 1 winners from each of the arena times are going to play against 3 of the high people from the leaderboard. So, for example, in 22 hours, there's going to be a match that will involve C. Coppola, representing the qualifiers from 0 UTC, and the other 3 players you will play against will be Rojito, Grathi Ben, and Jonas Rath, who qualified by virtue of Raiden. There will be 1 winner of that match, and there's going to be like 4 matches on Sunday at the 0 UTC, 12 UTC, 16 UTC, and 20 UTC. So that will get us to 4 winners from among both the qualifiers and the highest rated players. Next weekend, there will be a finals match on, what is that, July 1st, I guess? July 1st, July 2nd. I will not be able to cover the finals next weekend, but I'm sure Luke will play. GS is in the chat. Was trying to gift red the win after yellow took my queen. Okay, so what move is this? Are you saying you're saying you wanted this taken or something like that? I mean, yellow's never going to take that pawn. How could you gift red the win? You're trying to help him promote, I guess? Yeah, Grathi Ben, a really tough matchup. So Grathi Ben is going to be playing in 22 hours, I guess. Grathi Ben, Jonas Rath, Rojito, and International Master C. Coppola would be playing that event. Grathi Ben, honestly, like, remember what Icy Stun did in the last event? Icy Stun, as the defending world champion, got to pick his bracket, and he picked the hardest bracket. And Icy Stun's theory was he wanted to eliminate the hardest players before they got to the finals. So given that this is winner takes all, that's probably the strategy. Like, you prefer to eliminate these people sooner rather than later. But we'll see. GYS Chess wants to get the Hyper Bullet Championship. Hey Radon, would have liked to have had your commentary. I have been in the streamers lounge the whole time. But yeah, we are gonna find someone to raid. Let me check to see who's streaming in the chess category. Was Martin streaming this? I wouldn't imagine so, but it's possible. I don't see anyone streaming for PC. So, I'm open to suggestions of who to raid. Oh, you have an ear inspection. Oh, sorry to hear that, Radon. Hope you feel better. So I could raid Chicken Cross Road, who's streaming Bughouse. Chicken seems to only stream for like 15 minutes and then he ends the stream and he never raids though. That's a little frustrating. I'm at least gonna give Chicken a shout out. 1 ton panda. Okay, let me check this person out. Let me see. First, let me see who Chicken is partnered to. Chicken's partnered to Sinfonia, who he plays with a lot. Alright. We are going to give Chicken a shout out. And we're also going to shout out Radon, because he's in the chat here. And we're going to shout out Grathy Ben. After all that, so let's see. 1 ton panda. I don't think I've seen this person before. We can potentially raid him. Let me see who else is streaming. Zephcat's streaming too. I don't think I've rated 1 ton panda before. We could do that. All right. Let's shout out Radon. We'll shout out Grathy Ben. Be sure to follow all these people. They're great streamers. Grathy Ben is our defending. Well, he's the world champion of the old setup. And Grathy Ben will be playing in about 20 hours. Okay. Sorry, 22 hours. We're going to raid 1 ton panda at the suggestion of our friend Radon. I will be back in 10 hours to cover the next qualifier. I think I'm going to be able to cover all these things, though I do have some work I need to accomplish, so hopefully I'm going to find time. We'll see. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Congrats again to International Master C. Coppola for winning this particular match. All right. Have a great night, everyone. See you guys later.